live.
What does it say, dear?
It says we're live, but I don't buy it. It's not showing.
There we are.
Okay. Well, according to this, yes, but I don't see it.
Great. I think we can get started.
Can we get started?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's time.
Oh, I'm getting an ad. Hold on. Oh, I can skip it now. Oh, okay.
Perfect.
We are live. Now I shall take it off.
Perfect.
Pay attention to here we are. Here we are.
It looks like you just fed.
Is it all over my teeth?
The blood.
The blood is all over my teeth.
The drug blood.
The drug blood. Drug blood. If you watch What We Do in the Shadows, hopefully you recognize.
This definitely is like it's
what we do here.
It's plain as day.
My
what we are.
best Nadja impression is that I can only really say drug blood.
Drug blood.
Drug blood.
Yes.
That's that one episode. So yeah, here we are. This is so weird. And I'm like, do we like how we're ready?
Uh-huh.
We're ready. So Craig is Lazlo. And
that's right, darling.
We had so much fun picking out these costumes.
Well, let's start at the beginning because we weren't going to go with these two.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember.
I remember dear.
Who we were going with.
I keep saying dear. It's not dear. It's darling.
Darling.
But originally we were going to go with Beetlejuice.
Yes, that's right.
And then do you remember what happened?
Was it that we were just going to watch an episode and we were like, what are we doing with it?
No, it's that Beetlejuice sucked. We watched the new one, the sequel, and it was not good. And we were like, we kind of soured on the whole idea. So, and then we came home one day and we were sitting there and lo and behold, there was a new season of
What We Do in the Shadows.
And that was like, oh my God. How did we miss it? This was, of course, what we were supposed to be.
Right? So immediately we went into planning mode. Craig is amazing with it. Found some stuff. He picked out my dress.
This all happened yesterday, too, by the way.
He picked it out.
Did I pick out that dress?
You did. You found it.
Nice. I threw it in the cart and let you choose.
He threw it in the cart and was like, what do you want to wear for our first live, our first Halloween live?
You look so good.
It
legitimately came together right at the end.
It did come together right at the end because it was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shit show getting to this point, but we made it.
We did.
Right.
We did.
In the nick of time. And then the last moment, we figured out how to stream this onto the internet.
The internet.
Yeah, it's so wonky. This is our first live, and it's not even just like our first live, it's the first like live stream that we've done
ever
on YouTube, and I think it's going well so far.
It is. There's a delay, and so we're gonna have to.
There's not a delay for them watching.
Hopefully not.
It's just a delay for us because
we can't like pay attention to that at all.
We're just gonna sit here and keep clicking back and forth.
Or we could stop.
And then stop.
Right? So what do you think of the set?
I think it looks great.
If you've been watching it, you see our Halloween accoutrement.
I think it looks great.
That we're working with. And on this episode, we are going to talk about with fangs in our mouth the entire time. And it's really challenging.
With fangs in our mouth.
Some of our like
I just want to sit and look at it. It looks so good. That's what she said. So we're a little giddy. Very giddy. We're kind of excited. This is fun.
Yeah, this is.
I feel like we should have done this get up yesterday. We should have totally done these costumes.
We should have
for the trunk or treat.
Also, we did not know it was going to come together quite so well.
Until
literally yesterday.
Like, you can see you look like.
I can see it now.
Yeah, you totally do, don't you?
I can see it now. When we first did it, and when I showed our kids, and they were like speechless. Both of them had like
your wig.
They covered their mouth.
Not your wig.
These are
beautiful hair.
My beautiful hair wig. What wig? What wig?
It doesn't look as good off camera. It looks so good on camera.
Bad. off camera,
it looks a little wonky.
Without the outfit, the fangs and everything. When you just put the wig on, you're like, oh no. I think they were like, please, you're gonna do a live wearing that. You're gonna be in public on camera wearing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to make it work.
We would have had so much fun in the truck and at the fucking thing that we did yesterday, the truck or treat. I can't say trunk.
You just did the
truck or treat. Trunk or treat. Drug
If you've seen that episode.
It's more than just one episode.
I only remember one episode where they did the
drug blood's in multiple episodes.
Is it? Yeah. Are you sure?
Because they totally
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
you look so like you are Lazlo.
You think so?
You are Lazlo. You're doing so
This is so hard because we were trying to come up with like the catchphrases and the different things that these characters say. It's hard with the things.
Right.
It's going to get hard.
It's really
That's what
hard.
she said.
That's what she said. Is it going to get hard?
But the hard part is Lazlo is such a fucking, I can't say.
You can't. You need to stop before they kick us off.
He's such a scoundrel.
He is a scoundrel.
He's such a scoundrel. And so it's hard because a lot of his stuff is not safe for consumption.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us on this and being with us while we get all of our, you need a quick click in that.
Clickety click.
Click in the clicker.
Yeah, let's settle in.
And like our nerves as we settle into a first live episode.
I think this is how we should do all episodes.
It's pretty great.
I think we
could start a side podcast
with Lazlo and Nadja.
And it's been like a tribute to what we do in the shadows.
Where we review them.
Yeah.
Is this the final season? We should have had some what we do in the shadows facts.
Well,
I don't even know the name of the actors that play these characters. Do you?
They're them. It's a documentary.
That's true.
It is a documentary. And you get to see them.
Staten Island.
It's Nadja. It's Lazlo. It's Nandor.
We're just imitating those people.
Gizmo. Where's Gizmo?
So, what were we saying? We don't have any facts about what we do in the shadows.
Well, it's because we live the life.
That's true.
We're embodying the characters today. I think it's in
season 6.
I think it is in season 6, and I do believe it's the last one. Sadly, I don't know. They might watch this live and be like, you know what? We're not done. Nadja has a hair tie on her wrist.
I was teasing. Yeah, they're in season 6 right now. Okay. I was teasing leading up to this on social that we were going to tell the story of us recording that spooky night at the lake.
Okay.
That fun little reel that we made.
Okay.
Do you remember that? Of course you remember that.
I do remember that.
It's a memorable night. How could you not?
It was a memorable night. I heard that Craig was never seen again. That made
tragic.
Me sad. That made me sad.
But he was delicious.
He was delicious. It is ridiculously hard to talk with things in your mouth. It is so hard.
I can't get over how much you look like her.
Really?
Yeah, you did really good. I think it's the lipstick.
Is it the lipstick?
Yeah, but you did lipstick too clean. Like your lipstick looks good. Like she
give
definitely give it a minute. She definitely has a little bit sloppier lipstick.
Right. Well,
you look good.
Thank you.
Back to our trip down memory lane at the lake. Mm-hmm. It was the Northern Lights. Mm-hmm. And we thought it would be fun to go into what's the place called?
It's Watts Bar Dam.
Okay, Watts Bar Dam.
Yeah, and it was a rare occasion that we got lucky with the Aurora Borealis.
It was a rare occasion when we got lucky.
Your Lazlo is on point, but we were able to catch
Which
it.
Point, dear?
I can't do it, baby. I'm not going to be able to do this. Like if you're in character, like I know I cannot do it. You make me laugh.
Okay,
so much.
It's the Northern Lights.
Yes.
And
did you just edit?
No, I want to be serious for a minute.
Try it
as best as I
with
can.
Things in your mouth.
So we're doing this new thing where we want to start creating different type of content, and all of it comes from this like amazing journey that I'm on this year of trying to really reconnect with who I really truly am as I'm here in this. Finally, I'm coming out. This is the real Craig. This is how.
Right?
Yeah. This is.
We've been hiding our vampire identity.
Been hiding in the shadows.
Yes, we've been hiding in the shadows, and now you see how true.
No, I was trying to be serious.
Sorry, continue, please.
we want to start creating different type of content because truthfully, I'm having so much fun, not just in the creation of all the content, because I do all of our content. I edit all the podcast stuff. I do all of our clips, our reels, everything that you consume in social media is stuff that I edit and curate and create. And I'm really enjoying it, having a lot of fun with it. And recently, and if you listen to the podcast a lot, then you know that we are constantly in this state of healing and going through all sorts of different levels of inner work and inner child healing and relationship work. And it's just our jam. It's kind of what we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And baby, I don't think you're going to be able to do both.
Listen, I want you to pay attention to you mind your own business. What is that? There's a clip where she's like, you just worry about yourself. You worry about your own self. That's it.
You should do
about your own self.
You should do Nadja with a Southern accent, with a Tennessee accent. Sit on that for a minute.
That's what she said.
Don't mind if I do. So we are wanting to do more content that truthfully is more of a documentary style as far as what we're really going through in this experience of healing together, as well as everything that is just present moment stuff for us. So we're starting to change things up, and we haven't really released a lot of this stuff yet. There's one on YouTube right now you can go watch. It's if you just scroll through our videos, you can see it. It's called Grief, and it gives you kind of an idea of the stuff that we're working with and that we're going to start creating and doing different things with, because we have big plans for next year. We're not going to tease those right now, but anyways, this night when we went there for the Northern Lights, and you can go watch this reel on social too, right? It's a funny one that we did leading up to Halloween. But the night that we went there, it was my opportunity to just experiment and have fun with recording different type of content. Because another thing that we're going to be doing is all of this content creation just gets to be this creative process. And I really like creating this way. And we've got a lot of plans for, you know, more serious things. And then of course, not so serious, because it's fun to create shit. And I'm trying to stick on the story.
You're doing so good.
So
it's fun to create with you.
Yeah.
Like I like doing this. I like that you're embodying this part and you're allowing yourself you're trying not to laugh. It's so hard to keep
doing my best.
What's happening?
I fixed your microphone.
What you want me to do? But like you're trying to say
Nadja
serious.
swears way more.
She does. And
so
that's the only thing that I really have of her accent is
her swears.
The swears.
Yeah, you're really good.
Other than that, it's
that
really,
was a good mouth. You just did a Nadja
I do a Nadja
mouth?
It's because she's trying to work around her face.
Right?
You're trying to be serious.
Okay.
Be serious.
Yes. So we're doing different type of content, and we'll talk more about that in the future, I'm sure, because it's a big part of where we're headed with everything that Steph Craig is about. So this is our first night of getting to have fun and play around and experiment. Yes. And we get down to this lake, and it's, if you're from Tennessee or Eastern Tennessee, Watts Bar, it's a very, touristy attraction kind of place. I don't know. It's not super big.
It's the happening place to be.
Very much so. It's where all the cool people hang out. So we go there to watch the Northern Lights. And in doing so, we just had fun because we were there for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Running around, just taking different videos and content and recording different things. And then it was like coming together while we were there, just piecing together this idea of filming like a scary clip for a movie, like a trailer or something like that. And I don't even remember what we did first. Do you remember?
I think it was because I was pointing out the sign. We were doing pictures, and I was like, it's funny because it's by a nuclear power plant.
Yeah. The dam is, I mean, the whole reason it exists is because of the nuclear.
Like apparently those are a common thing along the Tennessee River.
Yes.
But they have, it's hilarious. It's like so bizarre. It's so bizarre because they have this park and they have this like little area that's, I am doing my best here, that's roped off. It's a little swimming hole on the lake, but they have it like roped off. You're not supposed to go farther because it's like, here's the area. And then the dam is right here. And the kids know that when you hear the alarms go off or the whatever, that they're going to open the dam. And so the water, when you hear the alarms, get out of the water. And this is where everybody goes swimming. This is the happening place to be. So here's the park. Here's the roped off spot. Here's the dam. And then over here, kind of away from it all. And it's really for the boaters, not the swimmers. There's a big sign, a huge sign. This is dangerous waters. And this is where the kids go swim. And so I was like, you got to see the sign. It's funny. And the only reason I saw it is because I was looking for a phone one day that was lost. That's another story. And I'm looking, I turn around and I see this sign that's warning dangerous waters. And directly after that is the swimming hole and then the dam. And I'm like, I don't know who organized what, but I feel like some things got missed a little bit here. So it was the sign, and then you started recording the sign. If I remember right. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't remember. One of us was high.
It
was probably you.
It was elevated with, we were elevated. It wasn't me.
No, it definitely wasn't you. It definitely wasn't you. Anyways, what happened, like when I teased all of this on social and like posted the reel that we made from all of that stuff, it's fun, right?
How are you talking so well with your fangs?
Well, dear, I've got more practice.
You got experience with things in your mouth.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Nadja would have said that to Lazlo.
Very funny.
And darling. I think Lazlo. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry.
So what it looked like to me was an opportunity, not just to record fun stuff, but then when I released it or shared it on social, I was like, oh, this would be perfect to like lead into the live, because now we have something to be like, hey, here's this spooky little thing we went and did, and we're going to talk about it on this episode right now. And I'm like, that's a really good idea. I wish I would have thought about it like 6 weeks ago. So we could have like totally done this entire thing and had a really big, instead it was just like, because the whole Northern Lights thing was, do you remember how that happened? Where you learned that and I was like, I don't know, but because we usually go to bed. Right. Like we're in bed by 9.
I know, we had to stay up late.
Yeah, it was miserable. But we made it. And we made a funny little piece of content.
And it was really fun.
It was really fun.
Honestly, it was a lot of fun. At what point, it looked like we were being sketched running around with the cameras because the cops came and talked to us.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do.
I was like, oh, I think somebody called the cops on it. We weren't wearing this. So
we should have been wearing this. We should wear this everywhere and just go film content as Nadja and Lazlo in Tennessee.
I've got to say, when I'm looking at this set, it looks so
Doesn't
good.
It look exactly?
It looks like, how are we going to make this? I can't. These are 3 different pieces, and they're absolutely giving me a headache.
I had to turn the air conditioner on.
Yeah.
Because it's been chilly lately, but I was like, we're going to get in there in our get up and all the lights, and we're definitely going to get hot. But the other thing that we're doing on this episode, beautiful woman of mine, my beautiful wife,
your
darling,
your right time gal. What does he say?
My good time boy. My rotten soldier.
Okay. What's the other thing that we're doing?
We are talking about real life.
Yes.
Scary stories of stuff that we've experienced in our life, both prior to the forming of this beautiful relationship 600 years ago and now current time, because we've experienced some real life scary things, not just like trauma, but
we're talking
this is a
about
trauma scary. The whole, we're just going to share all of our traumas. Here we go. Back in first grade.
You're sounding like we're gonna just like
no, not traumas, just spooky stuff.
Paranormal experiences where it's actually just talking about paranormal. This is
it's totally the paranormal episode. That's the word I should have been using. I wonder for the
people that are watching Steph and Craig for the first time, and they're like, they're gonna see us pop up, and they're like, I don't know that I like this isn't our regular go.
This is actually,
it might be our spinoff. Are we pausing
or
for a
spin
picture?
On. Offer on, dear. Darling. Anyways, real life paranormal stories. Who wants to go first?
You go first.
Me?
Yeah, why not?
Because I wasn't prepared.
Oh.
I was trying to think of stuff.
You weren't prepared? We've been talking about this.
I was
it's
thinking
okay.
about
I showed up prepared.
Funny, scary stories.
Okay.
Like back when I was in high school, it was 16, 17 years old, something like that. It totally would have been around this time of year because why else would we have been spooking people and scaring people, right? But likelihood with
Some people just do that.
Yeah, for me it was probably March, right? It was April or something, but it was, I don't remember the guys that I was with, which is strange because I usually had a normal group of guys that I hung out with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if those guys are listening, I apologize if you were there and I don't remember that you were there. But it seemed like it was a mix-up.
We don't do shout-outs on this podcast.
We'll save those for brave men, right?
That's the one for the shout-outs.
Yeah, but I'm with a couple of buddies and we have a car full of girls, and which was super common where, you know...
Way to flex.
I got all nervous.
I know, you're good. You were hanging out. You were doing the normal
teenage hangout thing. Yeah. And what we decided we were going to do was take him to the cemetery, and I was going to get out of the car and then run and like, oh my God, we had this. Now it's all coming back to me.
Okay.
It's all coming back to me.
I heard it too.
We staged people. So guys set up ahead of time.
Okay.
And then we came through and they like jumped out of a tree.
Okay. You had some serious follow through here.
Yes.
All right.
But I can't remember. There's a couple of things I can't remember. There were so many schemes
Did they
I had
scare
in high
you?
School. No.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Did they scare you? But I had so many different like big plans and schemes and everything like that back in the day.
Okay.
And some of times they happened and came to fruition, right? And other times no success.
Okay.
So I don't remember if this was one that like really worked well or...
Well, what's the story?
Anyways, we just took some girls to the cemetery and scared them.
Okay.
Long story short.
Well, you definitely wrap that up.
Right. Moving on. No, but it was fun because it was like... I don't remember enough of it.
Oh, okay.
It's like I can't...
So you had them staged.
I don't even remember if I was in the car or if I was the one that was like up in the tree. Because there was a tree that was over the road. So you could jump down from the tree in front of the car.
Moving vehicle.
And then, because we had it like set up to where you drive up and you get to this spot in the bushes.
Okay.
So we were using like landmarks. Okay, when you pass the bushes on the right, or my topiary garden on the left.
I know.
It's my vulva garden.
I hope you've seen this show. Here it is.
Here
it is.
It's how I like them. Anyways, when you pass the bush on the right, then somebody would run in behind the car and smack the trunk. So it's like suddenly, what's going on over there? And then at the same moment, because you brake, right? The driver had instructions. And then at the same moment, everybody's attention goes, what's going on behind us? And then you look back and somebody falls from the tree in front of the headlights.
Okay.
Right. So it was this whole like plan, freak out.
That's awesome.
To just scare these girls.
Yeah. What did they think of it?
That's what we should find out.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking that...
You got to remember who they are.
I know.
So we can reach out.
I think man, I want to say Hillary was there.
Yeah?
But...
Well, we can reach out to Hill.
Yeah, we can see if she remembers that.
Okay.
Because it would be really funny to see what they thought of it.
Right?
Because I'm sure it was such a fun event.
They're like, oh yeah, very scared.
Greg was so spooky.
Or they're still being like, I cannot believe you did that. I peed my pants. Like,
no, it totally wasn't that scary.
It wasn't that bad.
In my head, it was going to just be like, oh my God.
It sounds pretty great. Yeah. I appreciate the effort.
There were so many things like that. Like one time we had them, because we were so bored. This was like small town stuff. And some people are like, this is not what we did in our small town.
Right? I had a different experience.
I had a very
little different experience in my small town.
Get how silly this is.
Okay.
Right? This is, because you have to remember too, I'm not talking to you, you remember. It was a small town and it was a Mormon town. It was like small town Utah. So everybody was Mormon. The entire town was Mormon. Everything about it, is Mormon. And so I grew up in that culture because this was what we did for fun instead of like all the other things that normal teenagers do. I did a little bit of that too, but maybe that's a scary story. That's trauma scary story.
Okay, well,
I gotta stay on topic.
Yeah, stay on topic.
So there was another time where we got some apple juice and I pretended to drink it like it was beer and get drunk while we were driving around town with these girls. And
that is the most Utah thing I have ever heard in my life.
Instead of just
you just like wrapped it up, getting tipsy on this apple juice.
Just crazy town, babe. Right? I'm crazy.
Oh, that is cute. Right? That's such a cute
so
story.
Crazy. No, it is. I guess
it's a cute story. It's a little cute kid story. You're a kid. You were in high school. You're a teenager.
Yeah,
you're not 17. Like I. That's what I would prefer. Like
right?
What's your stories? Getting incredibly, risking alcohol poisoning. Or
I'm trying to think if I've had paranormal stuff that stands out to me from childhood.
Okay.
And undoubtedly I do.
Okay.
Because of how connected I am, right? Mm-hmm. Like the awareness of my connection to energy and everything else, right? Mm-hmm. So, because I remember having connection, like when I meditate, or if I'm going into a meditative state, or if we're doing like energy work, the thing that I always pass through before I go into whatever's on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. It looks like stars. So it's the same thing when I go to sleep at night. It's like when I go through stars, when I see stars appear in front of me, it's not just seeing them appear in front of me, but when I see them appear in front of me and then I feel like moving towards them, I know I'm going somewhere. Yeah. Something's happening. And I remember that from when I was a kid. I remember laying in bed and seeing that and then having that sensation of going towards them. And so because I can remember that, and because I also know like present day Craig has connection to that energy as well, and always has. What are you after, babe?
A tissue.
Oh, they're down there.
Okay, keep going.
So I had to have had some sort of like connection to the paranormal stuff from back in the day. And I'm trying to, I think what I probably blocked some of it out.
Yeah, maybe.
Turned that part off or whatever, like kids do. Or I might not have had any.
No, I think you did. I think you did.
Because I can't think of anything that was like spooky, scary or anything like that.
Well, why don't I take it off? And I'll tell a story, and I'm gonna go.
This is really shitty. Yeah, I want to hear your story.
What's really shitty? That
the one that I thought of was like a crappy one from when I was a cop, but it was also like super.
Do you want to tell that?
I'll tell that one.
Okay,
you go first though.
Okay,
I gotta get a drink.
Okay, you get a drink, and I'm
gotta wet my whistle, dear, darling.
I can't do it. Okay, this is like this was like 19. This was like 19.
Oh wait,
ish.
1920. I'm just gonna add some commentary.
I'm not gonna be able to get through this.
You keep telling your story.
I'm not gonna be able to get through this. So right now, when I could do like the Nadja thing and be like, shh,
you got it.
I'm going to use my big old voice. To blast anyone.
So it was back in the 80s.
So I was
Yeah, how
baby,
old were you?
Jesus.
Sorry, I'm on my phone.
Put your phone down.
What is happening?
Put your phone down. We're live. Do you remember? We're live.
I'm getting a call.
So I was with a person, and it was at nights, and there had been like fighting going on. There had been like a difficult night.
Teenager?
Well, I'm 19.
Oh, okay. Did I miss 19. That part?
Yes.
Okay, so you're 19 and there had been fighting going on. I'm caught up.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. If you fall behind again, I want you just to sit there and wait. Okay. I'll catch you up after. Okay.
19-year-old Steph.
So 19-year-old Steph. So
and there's people
we're in bed.
Okay.
And there had been fighting, and all of a sudden it was like this really strong presence was there. And I felt like I was angry, and I was really upset. I was hurt. I wanted to leave. I had a lot of anger in me. And then the person that was with me, we were like, started to see, it looked like a black swirl was going around the ceiling. So we're laying there, and this black swirl is just like going around and going around. It's scaring the shit out of the person that I'm with.
Yeah.
And inside like my head, I'm just like,
here we go.
I'm mad, you know, and I'm scared. I'm not scared of that, but I'm scared of the situation and I'm mad. And then at some point he starts screaming like, get away from her. Cause it was like swooping down by me. I didn't see this part.
We need to push pause on this.
We're not pushing pause. We're going through.
Remember, I have never heard this story.
Well, neither have they.
I'm not concerned about them.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you if you listen.
I'm excited.
I've told you parts of it because you'll remember.
Okay. It's all coming.
I feel like I've told you all of it.
It's all. I don't remember.
You're going to remember this part
coming down from the ceiling towards you.
Okay, well, that's what he said. The interpretation he had is that it was attacking me.
Okay,
and he was like, "Oh, get away from her, protect." You know, thinking he was protecting me. Also, he's the one that was the scary part of it. I had the feeling at this point that it was protecting me, but then I started to get scared because I was also in a scary experience,
right?
And so then I started to get scared, and I was working in Dugway, so I drove out and I was having like breakfast with my mom or something. I was having breakfast with my mom before we both went to work because we were both working in Dugway, and so I'd stopped at the house, and I don't remember actually if it was before work or after work, but I guess that doesn't matter. Anyways, oh, there was a wolf necklace. How did the wolf necklace come in? I don't quite remember how the wolf necklace came in, but there was a wolf necklace and it was significant, but I don't remember it. But I'm talking to my mom about it. And as I'm getting into these details of like what had happened, I was only talking to her about the paranormal part. I wasn't talking to her about the why I was upset, why the night was so chaotic beforehand. And we're sitting there talking about it. And as we're speaking, and I'm getting to the part where it's like coming down and swooping, we're sitting on either side of the table, and the light fixture, the light bulb above us shatters and glass goes like flying. And so we have this glass goes flying, and my mom's like, we're done talking about this. And so I'm like, okay, got it. So we stopped talking about it. But it was something that felt like scary, especially at that time when it was like, okay, we're done talking about it. And that was very much at the time frame where I was, I switched to you and you were looking at your phone. It looked like you were not.
That wasn't my phone, dear. My good time boy.
So
my rotten scoundrel.
You're looking at it again.
Lazlo, quit looking at it.
Put it away. So that was the time where I was scared. I'm like, okay, this is bad. This is bad. I'm scared. There was something evil there.
But
this was before I had like more awareness.
I understand, but do you think, because I think I remember this part.
Yeah.
And do you think that you felt that way? I'm scared. I'm evil. This is bad because you were basically mirroring your mom's experience, mirroring your mom's emotions?
Yeah, I was scared before that too, though.
Okay.
And this was also at the time where I wasn't like, oh, this is a loved one looking out for us. This is where I saw energy differently.
Okay.
I was like, the devil's gonna get us. Like I was afraid, I had a different mindset back then.
Yeah.
And then when my mom was scared and was like, and she just like walled off hard. It's like, she just said it, she's like, we are done talking about this. And I was like, yes, ma'am. We shall never mention it again.
Right.
And I don't know that her and I have ever talked about it since. I think we were like,
that would be an interesting conversation if she remembers it.
If she remembers it, and if we've ever talked about it since.
Yeah.
My teeth are gonna fall out.
They're not. They're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good.
It's also like the adhesive stuff, the chemical stuff. I'm just tasting it. So I'm like basically just downing chemicals.
Drug blood.
I'm going to have a migraine tomorrow and be like, why? So that's the first one I have to share.
Sorry, I just like.
Do you see where
moving things in front of your face?
Touch your own stick. This one's mine.
Play with yours.
Oh my gosh. I want to get the Nadja down so bad.
Baby, you've got it.
Was that pretty good?
You've got it. Every time you slip into it, you got it.
Okay, well, anyone that's watching that is familiar with what we do in the shadows and isn't just looking at us like, what is happening? This is the
best thing ever. They're like, holy cow.
Let us know. Let us know.
You've got a good Nadja.
Thank you. You have an amazing Lazlo.
That one, I want to go back to swirly stuff on the ceiling and stuff coming towards you.
Okay.
Tell me what that felt like. Like, give me some more information there.
Well, it was only about 5 years ago, so it's easy for me to pull from.
Because initially, like, what are you thinking that is?
What am I thinking? I don't know. Like, I don't.
Because you said he was interpreting it as.
I know.
But what are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, I thought I said at the beginning a little bit more. It was like I was upset. It felt like my anger, and it felt like protection.
Okay.
Until it didn't.
Okay.
Until I started getting in my head, and I'm like, "What's happening?"
That happens.
I'd also had I could only describe it as an evil experience at that apartment.
Okay.
That was that person. So I had a lot of fear wrapped around. I now know what it was I was getting a warning, not in a threatening, but in like a sweetheart, you got to get out of here. But at the time, I didn't know, and I was just terrified because it was vivid and intense, and it was terrifying. You know how sometimes you have those dreams, those ones that just like crawl in your bones, and they are the scariest. It's like evil dreams are the only way to describe it, where you feel like an evil presence. And if you have that mindset, maybe you weren't raised with that, but we're in a very, anyways, you probably understand what I'm talking about. I'm so nervous right now.
Why? You're doing
because
great.
I was talking about a scary thing, but it felt evil, and I was terrified, and I've had like so many of those happen. So I had an association with that it was very scary. And it wasn't until, honestly, like, because I had I'm angry, I want to be protected, to what is happening. This is terrifying. Everything is really scary here.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And now I go back, I'm like, oh, I have some pretty good energy with me.
Right.
I have some pretty good energy with me. I was being protected. I was like, what I was thinking, my initial response, I feel like is what it was, as opposed to what it turned into.
All those other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the case so many times though, right? We always know initially right off the bat what it is, and then we talk ourselves out of it, or we let other people. Like, that's the hard part, I think, a lot of times about bringing stuff to people is, if you're not really, this is interesting as we talk about this, because I recognize it's not, you have to be really solid in yourself, right? You have to be able to really hold,
grounded in your own conviction
kind of thing, right? So then that way you're not shaped and influenced by the voices around you. But I think it's also really important to understand that perception is such an important factor, because your experience, your perception of that experience can be shaped and molded based off of other people's perceptions. And so,
and that's
the thing that I think is even more important than like having a strong constitution to stand in your truth. Obviously that's important,
right?
But I feel like that might come later on when you've got practice. But even just being able to stand in the position of like, oh, they had a completely different experience than me, right? Their experience of what I just experienced, because they explained it, they described it, or I'm interpreting what they're saying based off of whatever, right? That is their perception. That's their experience of it. And so even just having that knowledge allows you to, not necessarily like bypass it, but you don't have to get so caught up in thinking like, I'm wrong. My perception of it, my interpretation of what's happening is wrong. And now I have to think and act and behave based off of theirs,
right?
Instead of just, oh, that's just, it's not even right or wrong. It's like, that's just their perception. And I have my perception, and they're not the same perception, but neither one is right and neither one is wrong. How many times that happens to us? All the time. And
like all the time.
I don't even really think about it anymore. Here we go. Right. When I am in activation, I think about it as right and wrong.
Oh, yes.
And then when I am nervous system regulated, I'm like, oh, that's just your perception. And I'm curious. Then I'm like, I'm excited to understand your perception of this. And I want to know more. But when my nervous system is fried, when I'm activated, even tired, hungry, all of those real basic ones sometimes, then I'm always thinking about it like, you're wrong, I'm right.
I know. I don't fall into those same traps that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
because it's totally a perception thing. That's a good one.
It is.
That's a good story.
Okay. Well, are you ready? Are you ready?
I was thinking as you were talking, I was thinking about not just like paranormal, things that we've experienced, but because you brought up being scared. And I was thinking about like some of the times in my life when I've been the scaredest. Is that a word? Scaredest?
The scaredest, yes.
The most scared.
The most scared.
Right. The times in my life when I've been the most scared. I remember watching the original It.
Yes.
That was a mini series back in the day. I was petrified in that. Like I remember watching that and just being like, I don't think I can go to bed. Like I was frozen in fear over that stupid clown.
Yeah.
And for years, like it was something that totally got me. Even when the new ones came out and we watched them, it was so interesting because I can watch like, scary stuff. We watch scary movies every now and then. They're not like our go-to genre, but it's good stuff. And they didn't scare me, but I also acknowledged that I wasn't fully in them.
Okay.
So I could feel that I was keeping something up between me and those movies.
Okay.
So I could watch them and enjoy them and, whatever,
like
right?
Protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also did not allow myself to like be totally immersed in those movies. Because when I watch a movie that I really like, and truthfully, it's not even a movie I really like. When I just watch a movie, right? There's bad movies that I get totally immersed in. But it's the same thing where if I'm watching something, I'm like completely immersed into the world, right? And that's why stuff's really scary sometimes because I'm like, oh my God. And I remember when the new ones came out, keeping myself out of that full immersion subconsciously almost. Like I can only look back now and recognize it because I didn't have awareness that I was doing it in the moment.
With the new ones, with the new It?
Yeah, the ones that are like in the last decade. No, because I didn't
you had
be fully immersed in them.
You had your like scary movie chastity belt.
Yes. Scary movie chastity belt.
The new one didn't really get me, but the first one terrified me as well. And it's funny that you mentioned that because how we were talking about our outfits and getting them ready when because you were going between, you can see your ruffles,
yes,
and then your wrist ones. It was like, are we going to switch those? And you had it switched. Your first option, that you had around your throat, your first one made it look like the ruffles
like
of a clown, and you're like, which one? I'm like, not that one.
Yeah,
it immediately made me think of It, and I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah, and I was like, nope, absolutely not. So the second one, it didn't get me as like really. I thought it was kind of, they focused on gore instead of horror.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very scary. The first one terrified me, but when you put on it was like that part where he just kind of like transitioned slowly. It was like that one piece at a time where he noticed they was wearing the shoes. So I see this, and then you walk in, and then you've got the purple ruffle that looks like a clown, and my brain was like, this. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, obviously I'm so scared of that clown, that movie, that whole thing, right? Because of that moment way back when I was like, I've got to Google. Let me Google. When it originally came out.
I'm not sure when it originally came out.
Because I want to know how old I was.
Yeah. So while you're looking at that, that's a pretty intense. Do you have like some of the moments where you were the scaredest?
1990.
1990?
So I was 9 years old. I would have thought I was younger.
Yeah. That's funny. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I was like 7 or 8, but 9's pretty close.
9's pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
It was super scary. I hated it.
Also, like, what was a 9-year-old? What are 9, 10-year-olds doing watching that?
Right.
But
that's
I did.
A long list of things that I shouldn't have been watching.
I don't remember where I watched it the first time.
You don't watch it when it happened on TV?
No, I did. I just don't remember. Like, I remember watching it on TV, and then we got it on tape.
Okay.
And it's funny, even though it scared the crap out of me, I watched it over and over again.
We've talked about that before, where it's like the ability to like numb out with because we're so addicted to the dopamine and all of those chemicals because of the trauma and the chaos and the adrenaline.
Yeah. Stephen King was my bedtime stories.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Cujo, all of that. The Silver Bullet was not my bedtime story. Silver Bullet was like,
Was that a Stephen King one?
Yes. And I could not. That one wasn't like, I didn't watch that one on repeat. I was like, that one scared me to my core.
What's your favorite Stephen King, not novel, but movie? Because I can't do novels because I didn't read them a lot.
Let's see. Probably The Stand.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one. And
that was another mini series on TV.
That was. And I'm still holding out for The Talisman. Is it The Talisman or The Talisman? I say it wrong. The Talisman. I'm still holding out. I think The Talisman's my favorite Stephen King book.
I think they did it already.
They did not. Okay. There was at one point where they talked about it. Okay. And that was like, I don't know, a long time ago. And I'm still waiting on that, Mr. King. Mr. King, don't make Nadja come after you. She's bringing Lazlo. Like, please, can we have The Talisman?
Yeah.
I want that. I want a movie. I want to watch it like a really good, like you bring it all. Like, this is the one. This is the one.
Do you want like a Lord of the Rings for Talisman? A multi, or you just want a good long 2.5 hour?
I don't know. Well, I was going to say I want the movie.
Okay.
And then I want the series.
Okay.
So I want both. So maybe something like.
I'm not familiar with the book.
It's the best book.
Is it? I started it once.
Yeah.
Because of your reaction here.
Because of me?
Yeah. Because you've got your copy. I was going to read it. And then I got like a chapter or two in. Yeah. Reading and me don't really mix.
I think it was actually my mom's copy. And I believe I've since returned it.
Okay. Well,
and if not, then she's going to be like, I knew you had it. Give my book. No, she won't be like that. But I think I've returned it. Although I'm going to have to go look where Stevie might have it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all kind of shared my mom's Stephen King, love for Stephen King and books that went
around. Handed down.
Yeah. We're a Stephen King family.
To come up with a scary story.
Okay.
I'm trying to think about like some real paranormal stuff that I've experienced.
Okay.
And I can't think of anything.
Okay. That's funny. I wonder like you're activated right now because obviously you have stories. Yeah. And I've heard you tell me stories, and don't ask me to tell you
the stories. Tell your stories. Told you?
No, you get to tell your own stories.
Can you remember one of my stories?
Not right now.
Okay.
I came to this with the assignment of I bring my stories.
You look so good.
And you bring yours. Thank you. Let's see another one. The spinoff of the one that I was going to tell before.
Uh-huh.
And this one happens. It used to happen a lot. Is I get anyways. Hold on. There's a hair. There's a something. I got totally nervous. I looked up the camera was on me as I was getting ready to say this.
Uh-huh.
And it
cut your throat.
It totally scared me. I'm like, hold on, let's fix here's a strand. Let's look at that. It totally, so I have to get back. There's something about this being live that is affecting the way that we talk. It's affecting the way that we show up. It's affecting our A game on it. I think we're so nervous.
No, we're doing great.
Yeah, we're totally nervous and it's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Stop doing that.
Sorry. Clickety click, click,
No
click.
Clicking. It was, I don't have a lot of it, but there was a little boy. It was like one of their family members. And sometimes he would watch them. Sometimes he would come over. And like, again, this whole situation was kind of funky. But what happened with the dream is I felt, I woke up at this place and I felt somebody looking at me. And it wasn't just somebody looking at me. It was like the weight, the tingle, the way that the air is charged when like the evil feeling is the only way I can describe it, because that's what it was to me at that moment. And I was so scared. And then as I slowly started to open my eyes, the little boy was right there and he was staring right at me, but he wasn't really there.
I'm sorry. Is this a dream?
No. I mean, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how it was for me,
For
and then
sure.
you can make your own interpretations.
Oh, I wasn't interpreting it as a dream.
Yeah, well, I woke up
And that little
and
boy
he
was
was
standing
right there, and I
Okay.
could feel it, and I can't remember that there was something different about the eyes, but I can't remember what it was because I wasn't like, let's look anymore. I was like, oh no,
I'm dead.
I'm
dead.
not.
I'm done.
I was so scared. And I just sat there and I was breathing and I was doing calming and like calling in help. You know how I did it back then, and was just terrified, and then slowly opened my eyes and he wasn't there anymore. But I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this. And so it doesn't feel like a dream because it woke me up. And I've had like dreams in a dream. I've been like inception layers, right?
Yeah.
But it was very much, it woke me up. I saw this creature at the time. It was this creature right there and said, nope.
Go back to sleep.
And then like, help me. And then slowly finally opened my eyes and it was gone. So there wasn't a re-wake. Like, you know, when you have a dream in a dream, you have a re-wake. There wasn't that. It was a whole thing. But it was terrifying.
Yeah, that is super freaky.
I have so many of those that before I could attach a different awareness to it, a different point of view, is very much terrifying.
Yeah.
Like seeing things like very physically, not in your mind's eye, very physically, having audible right here, feeling their breath while they speak, having my leg, you know, and all the time I'm like, like I felt tormented for a while. I was so scared before I was able to start to make connections,
start to understand it all,
change the perception of what was actually happening. Because at this time I had the movies in the church and I'm like, this is the devil. Like, I'm dying. This is bad. I need Jesus. You know?
This is the devil.
It was scary.
I don't remember a specific story or a specific event, but I totally see like those dark shadowy things in the corners all the time.
Yes.
And I don't know how else to describe them other than that, right?
They call them the shadow people.
Is that what they call them?
That's what they call them.
Because you and I talk about all of this kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have our own language around it all in the way that we, but because we have talked about how we see those shadow things, people, like it's just a shadowy form in the corner of the room sometimes. And it always catches my peripheral. Like I always see it out of the corner of my eyes first. And there haven't been, I'm trying to think.
Do you want to talk about our old house?
Well,
I bet
that's
you'll
a
be
lot
able
of
to
stuff from there.
Yeah.
Right. Our house back in Utah definitely had a lot. There was a ton of activity upstairs.
There was a ton.
Like crazy stuff upstairs all the time on the regular. I mean, granted, like our kids had rooms upstairs, but when nobody's home, nobody's upstairs. Nobody, it was like constant movement up there.
There was movement even when we were upstairs. It wasn't just us. My clients, when we were upstairs, were like, what's that? And they got to where they were familiar and comfortable with our active house. It was so active.
Yeah. And it was right there at the top of the stairs, like that whole little area right there. It was so strange.
Yeah.
Super loud all the time. Like I can't, like people
they took
walking
the whole house.
Upstairs.
They took the whole house. Because you remember the stairs one?
Oh,
you keep. I don't like. I'll tell the story.
Well, that's the thing
after.
is I don't have all of these like big long tells. Cool. It's just all of these little like minute stories. Like I remember walking upstairs to turn off lights and then coming to the spot where it's like, I mean, it's just, you can't deny the somatic experience that happens.
Yes.
You can interpret it however you want to interpret it, right? But it's a legitimate physical response to something, and you can feel it. And I'm just like, oh, something's in front of me or next to me, and it's dark, and the lights are off. I gotta get out of this space right now. Like it's this horrible experience in that moment where it's trying to move through fear. It's trying to move through terror. It's trying to move through like, they're behind me, but if I run, they're going to get me. I just have to watch
Don't run, you know better. If you run, they chase. Don't run. Don't run.
And I've got so many experiences like that. You know, it's so fun.
There were so many times, babe, when you were out of town working. Do you remember like talking me down? I would like call you sometimes, just terrified, because it was the activity. It didn't start out with, oh, we have a relationship with them, we're friends, they feel like protectors. It started off with like, poltergeist, this is it. You know, we were terrified.
Yeah,
I was terrified, and it
took us a while to get comfortable.
Took us a while.
And it was interesting too, because we bought the home and it had been vacant for not a long time, but for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a older couple that had built the home and lived in the home. And I think one of them had died in the home.
Both.
Did they both end up
both. We found out that they both did. She went first and then him.
Okay.
And then that was a call to our realtor, who failed to disclose that information. And I was really mad at her. And she's like, I didn't know. And I'm like, bullshit. Also, we have a good realtor in Utah now. So if you're ever looking for the best realtor ever, hit us up. Hit us up. We have the realtor of all realtors in Utah.
The best realtor
Jenny,
in
the
Staten
3D realtor.
Island.
Like, that's who you go to always.
But we were comfortable with them because they were there, and we could feel them on a pretty regular basis in different areas of the house and things like that. And after they kind of got comfortable with us, then it was fine.
Right.
And it wasn't a big deal, right? It's like they allowed us to live in their home, and they understood that we were going to take care of it.
It was, I think it was when we really started bonding with the house.
Yeah.
Then we were bonding with them. There was this one time, babe, where, because it was always, they were on the stairs, they were running around in the house, but it was just two of our kids.
Okay.
And it was our youngest, and who was sleeping downstairs, and he never would, whenever you were gone, he wouldn't sleep. It was really hard for him to sleep and to go down and sleep in his room. He did not. It's like, when you were working, he was like, I guess we don't sleep now. And we finally had got him to bed. And it was like one of our daughters and me, and he went down, and we were just like, okay, that was actually, we're surprised he hasn't came back up, because it was like a whole thing. And her and I were up watching a show. I don't know what we were watching, but her and I were, and then we heard him like dum 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 up the stairs.
Yeah, because we had wooden stairs. Yeah. The stairs weren't finished, so there wasn't carpet or anything on them. They were just bare hardwood. And not like hardwood floors. They were just the baseboard.
Stairs.
The base flooring.
And we heard him coming up the stairs. And both of us, because we had just mentioned how we're like, wow, like he's not, and then we rolled our eyes at each other. We were like, here we go. We're doing the routine where we just walk him back down, sit with him, just help him get comfortable in bed.
Yeah.
And as we had a sectional couch, and so the basement door was behind the sectional. So as I get up and walk around the couch and start making my way to the door, I can feel the energy. And I'm like, oh shit, he's not going to be there. Like I could, but I also, it was too loud.
Yeah.
It was too obvious of footsteps. Like it was just too, you couldn't. So even though I was getting scared, I was like, he's going to be there. And there was no lights. He had never flicked the light on. So I kind of like finished opening the door and look down the stair, because he's not there. He's not down the stairs. There's no lights. And I'm like, oh shit. I just turned and looked at our daughter, and she saw my face, and she's like, Mom, don't, because she thought I was scaring her. And I'm like, it's okay. And then that didn't help. So she's back against the wall. And I'm like, I got to go downstairs. And in my brain, I'm like, I'm going to bump into him. He's going to be in the hallway. He's going to be in his room. The lights are going to be on. And I can just feel that like tingly, that like, the static when it's just like, you're not alone.
Yeah.
And as I'm going down the stairs, and nothing, the black hallway, nothing, his room, there's no light on. And I open the door, ready for him to be sitting. You know how when kids, sleep, they pretend sleep, and they're like, this kid was out.
Conked out.
He was out. And I'm like, hey, come on, you're going to come sleep with Mom. You're not staying down here. So the three of us were in bed, like, and our daughter and I, like, we didn't sleep for the night. We were just like, and he was sleeping. We were good. And we're like, that was too much. And it was so much, because we have all these things, but that one required not only more than one witness, but like follow through.
Yeah.
So it kept building. And we were just like, it wasn't one of those where now we're having fun with this. We're having a grand time. We were not. We were like, this sucks. We're scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Like, who do we call? We need Ghostbusters. Like, we were so scared in that moment. And then it became fine after that, to where
so hard
we were just like, hi. We would say hi. We'd hear them and like, hi. It quit being scary. But there's so many times when you're by yourself
that's the hardest part.
You're a little more afraid.
That's the hardest part, is when you're by yourself, right? When navigating fear when you're together is so much easier, right?
I'm braver with the team.
Well, you totally are.
Yeah.
Like if you're home alone, we have this fridge that is
my gosh.
Our ice machine. Because when we moved here, this fridge was here. And we didn't have an ice machine back in Utah in our fridge.
And now we have two.
Right. And so this fridge is making ice all the time. And we're laying in bed, and suddenly out of nowhere, somebody's breaking into the front door. Right. And we're like, what the heck is going on? It was so loud.
It drops these big balls. Wait.
Just these massive, huge balls.
It has ice balls. Okay, hear me out. Ice balls. And so the top one you can get crushed or cubed, and on the bottom they look like Christmas ornaments.
It's awesome.
And so when they drop the balls,
yes,
it is loud.
It's a very loud. Somebody's breaking into the front door house, and we didn't know that was what was going on. We figured it out.
It still gets me.
It does still get me. It gets me because when you were in Utah and I was home by myself watching the house, that damn ice machine, I finally turned it off.
Yeah.
Because I would be laying in bed fully aware that it's the ice machine. And I'm like, I don't remember it sounding like that. It's never made that sound before. I'm pretty sure that was the front door. And then I'd just be like, I'm going to bed. The same thing where I'm just like, I'm not going to open my eyes. I'm just going to bed. If something's out there,
I'm like, that was my method. Remember, right. I'm like, nope. Yep. I'm just gonna lock them down.
I'm gonna trust that this is my psyche freaking me out, and that it's not actually somebody else.
It's just my imagination running away with me.
We've both had those experiences in bed where we're being pulled.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
We've had those a lot, and that still freaks me out.
Do you still get that?
It's been not that long ago, actually, this year.
Ooh.
When I've gotten it. I got one the other night.
Did you? Tell me.
It wasn't pulling on my feet or anything like that, but you were in the bathroom. I got to get a drink.
Okay. I'm so happy to hear the story. I don't get them anymore because I used to get them all the time. And there was this one time, the last time that it got me. And I remember just having enough because it scares me every time. I'm like, I don't like it when they touch me. I don't like it when they touch me. And that one, I was in bed and it grabbed my leg and yanked my leg again. And I just sat up and I was like, you will not touch me again with this. And it's been years, even to the point where I'm like, okay, I have a little more connection now. I can start to interact with you. Let's have a conversation. And they're like, you were serious. So I haven't had any sense. So I'm really excited to hear your story.
Yeah.
You ready? Tell me.
Well, it's not going to be that great.
It is.
You did a wonderful job building it up. So you're in the bathroom
giving you time
ready.
to get a drink.
You're in the bathroom getting ready for bed, doing all of your nighttime routine stuff. And I'm laying in bed and I was kind of sitting up. I wasn't asleep or I wasn't laying down, but I was kind of leaning up on some of these pillows. And I don't know what happened, but something comes and brushes past me.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a breeze. It was very much like somebody comes and pushes into my space and brushes past me and then sits just off to the side of my peripheral.
Okay.
And it was, it also came with when I say a dark energy, it's not like a dark, scary energy. Mm-hmm. It was just black.
Yeah.
So I could feel it was feminine.
Okay.
I knew that it was feminine. And then, but other than that, it was just this black energy. And it came and literally pushed in. And I was like, what the hell? And as I turned to look at it, it followed and then it stopped just outside of my peripheral. so I couldn't see what it was. I couldn't, completely connect to it, but I was like, it was enough to feel that sensation into my,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay,
How's it fine?
hello,
Hi.
everything's okay.
Hello.
Nothing to my left. But yeah, I know that I haven't had the pulling this year, but I've had the frozen, like when I wake up and I can't move,
Oh,
or I come out of
that one still gets
yeah.
me. Like, that one is hard to, like, tell me about it. I wanna hear about it.
I
That's
don't
a big
have
one.
I just know that I've had it.
Mhm.
This because it's recent. I don't, I say this year,
Yeah.
but I don't know for sure when it was. And I just remember waking up and coming to, when I say coming to, it almost was like that type of whatever we're calling these things, experiences,
Mhm.
that, that specific type where it's like stuff that's happening to me just as I'm falling asleep or just
Mhm.
as I'm waking up. There's that like little limbo period.
Mhm.
It seems like those things happen to me the most when it's either like a nap in the middle of the afternoon,
Mhm.
or I've woken up and fallen back asleep in the last half hour before I get up at 6:30 or
Right.
something, right? It's always in those little moments, and that's when I get those sensations a lot.
Yeah.
And I've had them, when I say recent, like I said, this year at some point
Yeah.
where I definitely came to and I was like, "Oh shit, I can't move." And then it's like all of the fear that builds in that moment that used to just like petrify me, even though I
Mhm.
knew that everything was okay and nothing, no panic. But I was able to just keep that fear more kind of at bay and satiated. I didn't have to really, so it wasn't a big deal for me, but
Do you have connections to what is actually happening when you have sleep paralysis?
as far as like correlation to what it is and stuff like that, I
Like,
don't think I do.
you don't think you
Yeah,
do?
no, I don't think I do.
I don't either. Like, this whole thing of been like,
I
I
can't
understand more, but that I
I
don't.
think when it happens, I'm so kind of afraid of what's going
Mhm.
on that I don't bother to, like, reflect. Because a lot of
Right?
times if I'm having an experience or I'm getting sometimes the foot pull or this one that I described from the other night, right? I'm able to kind of, like, reflect and be like, "What's going on? What is that?" But when it's the paralysis thing, I'm just frozen, and when it stops and I'm no longer like when I can finally move, I'm just
Mhm.
like, "I got to move and get out of
Yeah,
this
run away,
experience
run
as
away, run
quickly as I
away.
can." Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's too much. So I don't know, you don't you said you don't
I
have it
don't have
either?
that one. I don't have that one down. It's like, you know how we were saying the other ones of you can reflect after. Now I understand like connections. Like, I'm excited for this. I'll win. And, who are we going to talk to? Who am I going to intentionally pull into this
Mhm.
space and have conversations with? But the sleep paralysis one, it's so foreign to me. I know it scares me every time, but I don't know that it's not. I don't know what that is. I haven't had the thing come to. I don't know, some like spirits are holding you down or, some medical thing, not medical as in something's, now you have an issue and you need
Right.
to go, but just some medical answer. I just don't know. And I know I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's really, really scary, but I also know, like, when it happens, it's okay. Like, it's gonna pass, it's
Yeah,
okay,
it's
and then
so spooky
afterwards,
when
it's
it's
just like,
happening.
"Okay," but I don't know that I've had an experience after I'm just like, "Oh, glad that's over,"
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think about those experiences just kind of like, not necessarily the individual experience of going through it and what's happening, but like overall, what do you think is happening in
I d
those
I
moments?
don't know.
You're not sure why it happens?
Yeah, that I don't have a clue.
I have a
Oh,
theory.
do you?
I
I
have an
would love to know.
idea.
What is it?
Well, it's my perception
Yeah,
of this. I think it's because we're not in our bodies,
yeah.
and that's why
Like a, astral projection that you haven't re-entered yet?
yeah, so
So
I
you're
think you
okay.
have awareness that your consciousness is suddenly aware of, like, this dimension where your body is,
Uh-huh.
but you can't move your body because you're not in your body.
Mm.
And then I think you drift back off because that's how it works, right? You come to and you're frozen.
I
And then
don't
there's another phase of it where suddenly you come back into your body and then you can move. Because it's not, I'm frozen, I can't move. And then I start moving. It's, I'm frozen, I can't move. What's happening? And I'm like scanning my body and I can't move any part of my body. But then I don't remember the point of when I come back into my body and can move it.
Okay.
It's like I go back to sleep or I drift back. Now I'm back and I can move my body and I'm okay. That's what it feels like for me. Does it feel different for you?
It does. It feels different for me. There's times when it feels like you can like see your body, when you can see things.
For sure.
When I'm in that, I feel like I am the most in my body. It's like it's almost like you were to take a movie and to give an example, you know how they do the point of views? And so it's like the arms.
Yeah. POV.
And like, cause that's how we see things, but it's like even sitting here talking, I have awareness of the space around. It's like I'm here, but I don't have like the point of view, like I'm working in Avatar.
Okay.
I have more awareness.
Okay.
And that's probably because I'm like half out of my body, who knows?
Or not in your body at all.
Or not, maybe not in, like, so I can't remember a lot of these where it's our first live. I'm a little nervous.
Right.
But I feel like for me, just for me, when that happens, it's very much I'm like looking at my arm. I can move my eyes, right? I can see things, I can feel, and I'm like trying to, and I do feel like I remember one time it was at our couch in our old house.
Yeah.
And I felt
the
like
haunted house back in Utah.
Right. I felt like things were holding me down on the couch. And that's, I think, the only one, but I don't know that was anything other than my own fear coming in.
Right.
I don't know, just because it would make sense that my body would be like, oh, I can't move, but I'm you know what I mean?
I used to get held down on that couch too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. When I would meditate, I would come out of it and couldn't move.
And you feel like you're being held down. But did you have awareness of your body, of your hands, of your like?
I don't know. I mean, as you're saying it now, and as we're talking about it a little bit more, I think I can feel kind of like a pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like like when I feel like I'm being pinned or held down, I have awareness of the part of my body that I can still move. Does that make sense? So like if you're going to sit on my chest, I recognize that I can still.
Yes, that does.
It feels very, it doesn't feel like that.
It's like you're being pinned down, but also it's more of an energetic thing in a sense.
It just feels like pressure.
Yeah, because you're just like, I can't, it's not like my arm, I can't move, but I can lift my wrist. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing is working, but I can feel my body.
See, and I can
feel it all.
I think that feeling is coming back into your body.
I don't know.
think that's the consciousness coming back into your body.
I mean, maybe it's not my perspective, but it might be.
It needs to be.
It needs to be, right? Right.
If you don't see things exactly as I see things, then I don't feel safe.
Okay. Well,
so that's the definition of codependency.
Okay. Well, this is going to be spooky for you then.
What do you think's happening?
I still don't know what's happening, but my experience is just a little different.
Yeah.
Like I don't have now I'm back in my body. It's like suddenly I can move.
What do you think the shadow people are? Because I've seen them at our house here too.
Yeah.
They're not as it's not as strong here.
Yeah.
But I still see them here.
My opinion for what we have experienced, and it's not what anybody else is experiencing. I'm not saying like this is what goes on in our space, so this is what goes on in your space.
Yeah, this is our perception,
right? For the energies that are around us, I think it helps us just see them more, because I feel like there's people, like we have activity, our people come and talk. They're around, and what I feel like when I'm not spooked is just like when the lights are off, or when it's just like in that shadow, you get it in that peripheral and you can just see a little bit more. There's times I've seen color. There's times I've seen clothes. There's times I've seen more, but I don't know if my conscious mind is like, I won't allow more than that. So it's the shadow is how I see it. And especially at night, it's like, because you're already looking at dark. And so I feel like I can get like detailed forms. Like I'm like, there are your shoulders, there are your arms, or sometimes it's a big blob and I'm like, I don't know what that is, or it's sparkly or swirly. But because you're already in that space of where things aren't so crisp from the lights, you can see more. So I think it's energy for us. I think it's whether it's spirits or, family or guides or messages coming through. It doesn't feel ominous to me. It doesn't feel scary to me, even if in the moment, because it's never like you get caught off guard a lot. Even if in the moment I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, afterwards I'm like,
It catches me every time.
Right?
I'm never just like la da da da. I'm always just like, oh, okay, hi, everything's fine. Keep moving.
Right.
Don't look to your left. Yeah.
It almost always scares me in the moment.
Yeah.
Like probably 98% of the time, it scares me in the moment. And then it's afterwards where I'm like, okay, I can put pieces together. And sometimes it's the initial scare, and then I can start to put pieces together and be able to like have that connection, that communication a little bit with it. But I'm never like, oh hi. You know how we would hear stuff upstairs? It got to be where we'd be like, oh hi. I haven't been like that when things come into my vision, when things touch, or when things speak to me. When you hear them, I'm not like, oh hi. It's like oh yeah, son of a bitch.
Do you want to talk more about some of the stuff that you've experienced in regards to like some of the, I don't want to tease it too much if you don't want to get into it, but then at the same time, it's like you've had a lot of really, I think, incredible experiences with connecting to people that have come to you and, want to connect to you for specific reasons in order to communicate things. And is that stuff that you want to talk about?
Maybe. I don't know that I want to talk about it on this episode.
Okay.
Like, I feel like maybe because those were significant and they were powerful.
Yes.
And I don't want to be in a costume.
Yeah.
When we talk about those.
What about just the generalities around what happens to you sometimes and what you have experienced before?
I don't want to talk about it on this one, but it's not something like I'm willing to talk about it, but I can very much feel like I don't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
it's
you
something
have
that I
nothing
totally
to
should have,
apologize.
because we didn't do a lot of prep work for it. Like, in all honesty, we have been incredibly frozen and struggling to like, muster enough energy to get through our days.
My no doesn't mean you've done something
Oh, no,
wrong.
I know. I'm
me
just
an
saying like
apology.
why we didn't talk about it ahead of time.
Did you know?
Well,
were you like, I'm going to ask her this?
No, but it popped into my head at some point.
Oh, okay.
Where I was thinking about the different topics that we could kind of talk about and go over and things like that. But yeah. And I should have mentioned it at that point, but
it's okay. My no worked just as effectively. I can say not right now, but later. No. And so it's totally good. I actually want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fun. But I love that you're like, I can't really like pinpoint something too big, but I'm seeing shadow people all the time. I'm getting like touched or burst up in my face. You have so many. I wonder like when you actually start to slow down and look at them all.
Well, the whole thing that like thinking about it doesn't, that stuff doesn't, it doesn't scare me anymore. It obviously used to.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I'm sure. Right. But it doesn't scare me anymore when it happens. The startle that we're talking about, and still kind of like having to navigate some fear around some of these things. But by and large, I'm just like, yeah, stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's so wonky. Like, and especially like in the world today, like we're going to sit here and be like, I don't know, that's probably just your mind playing tricks on you. Or it's aliens. I don't know if you realize
right?
this.
Maybe it's aliens.
Right. There's a good likelihood that there's multiple dimensions.
Right.
And or that we're just living in the matrix. So anything could be possible. So that's kind of how I see things today, where it's like, I mean, that could be a shadow person. That could be,
it could be us.
It could be,
it could be us in another dimension. Like you walked in, you came in, you sat down. Like there's like,
so many different possible things.
Yeah.
And it could be scary things.
It could be.
Like, it's not hard for me to start scaring the hell out of myself with scary thoughts.
Well,
right.
We could be spiritually gaslighting ourselves. Like, it's family. And they're like, no, get out. We're like, it's fine.
It's just our great grandpa. Right. Everything's okay.
Like, we could be completely getting this wrong.
Yeah. We could totally be possessed right now.
Right. I mean, RT, what's going on? Drug blood.
But I don't think it's scary anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just comfortable with it all. And that's like, it kind of ruins scary movies for me too, because
It does.
When I watch them, I'm just like, yeah, this stuff just kind of happens sometimes.
And we also know, like, there's like The Conjuring and some of those now. Like, they just kind of feel like, I'm like, I don't believe you. You know, before I'm like, oh my God, this is real. It's based on a true story. Like, this is why you have to be afraid. And now I'm like,
you don't believe them?
Knowing what I know.
What if that's their literal perception?
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like the things that you and I are describing being like shadow people and being pulled out of bed. And
I was on board with your it's kind of ruining scary movies. So when I started agreeing with you, you're like, now wait a minute. Back off, buddy. I am seeing, I agree with you. It's kind of ruined scary movies for me. We watch them now and I like jump scare.
Can you think of the most recent scary movie that really got us?
That got us?
Yeah. Or that got you, I suppose.
I don't know if one's gotten me. You'll have to let me know. Like, I definitely have moments, but I think the last one, there was like the devil game show one.
Did you like that one?
You thought that one was scary.
I didn't think it was. I thought it was a good scary movie.
Oh, you thought it was a good scary movie?
Right. There's my adult being like, babe, I wasn't scared.
Oh, excuse me. I did not mean to.
I just appreciated it for the piece of, art that it was. It was a good scary. It didn't scare me, but it was a good scary movie.
And yeah.
No, that one didn't scare me, but it was a good scary one. The one that kind of got me just a little bit was that hand one. I don't remember the name of that one. Right?
Where they shake the hand.
Yeah.
It's the hand, and then you like
right.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. That one was pretty good.
I think it might be the hand. I don't know.
It's definitely not the hand.
That one was good. They did good with it. I didn't. The devil game show one.
You don't like that one?
I was surprised when you said it was a good movie that you liked it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? This is dumb. Like, I didn't like it. It didn't. But the hand one was good. It caught me off guard a couple of times. I don't remember where.
There's a new one out right now that I want to watch.
What is it?
The one with Nick Cage, Long Legs or something.
Oh, that's right. You've pointed it out a couple of times.
That one looks super spooky.
Okay. Well, we'll have to watch it.
I'm always on the hunt for like a really scary movie. So like if you've got a recommendation of like the spookiest, scariest movie out there, we want to hear about it.
Absolutely.
Because I'm always on the hunt for a good one.
I want to watch a scary movie.
I won't, like, I don't know. I guess it's, what do you think it is about people and like that thing to be scared? Like we all like to be scared. We all like to,
I have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing, like it stopped for a while. I just stopped watching scary movies. I was like, absolutely not. Like when The Nun first came out, that one, whoo, buddy. That one was like my kid's silver bullet. That scared the fuck
You get scared all the time.
Yeah.
Because Nadja has a doll and you're like, we're not getting the doll.
Yeah. We wanted to do the doll. Just sit there. And we talked about going to the Goodwill to look for one. And I'm like, I know better. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So there's no doll. We have the vulva garden, not the creepy doll. I have a line. Yeah. I don't.
Scared all the time.
Dolls.
It's so easy to scare you too.
No. You do a good job.
It's so easy. I just have to look at you. I just have to like stop talking and turn my head slightly.
Look a certain way.
Suddenly, and then you get so freaked. It's so funny.
You're really good at it.
You're just really easy.
My favorite is jump scares.
Yes,
jump scares are like a love language to me.
I realized that the other night.
I want you to jump scare.
You want me to jump scare you? I'll jump scare you some more.
Yeah, it's just fun. Darling. I like to do it too. I like to
Yeah, you're good at it. You do. I get jump
excited and start laughing, and then I'm like,
you get so excited,
I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm gonna get you.
You can barely contain yourself.
There was one time I was trying to scare the kids, and I was like crawling behind the couch, and they were watching a show, and I'm giggling, and I'm like, it's okay, because I like pause, and I'm like all on all fours, and just like, because I'm gonna come up behind them, Like, it's fine. The movie's loud. And I think I can't not laugh. Right. But I think I'm at least kind of keeping it in because there's noise. And finally, one of them was like, Mom, we can hear you. So I'm like, and then I lost it. Oh my gosh. I could not stop laughing. And they were like that teenage phase. So I thought it was hilarious. Right. And they were there and just was like, you are the dumbest person to exist. It was all the eye rolls, and that just made it funnier for me.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It was funnier. And then when you do get them, then they would be mad. I don't know. Maybe I should talk to a therapist about that.
There's a thing about moms liking to scare their kids.
Yeah.
I think it's the way that moms get back at their kids, because it seems to be a thing where every mother I've ever known enjoys startling and scaring their children.
What does that say?
What is that?
I also like it when they do it back. Like when they get me.
Well, you said it's a love language.
I like high five. Like I'm like,
I don't think that's what you're. Yeah, because you legitimately.
It's probably there was one time like where you're like,
I'm going to hide in the bush, and when they come home,
I know.
and I'm like,
you were
baby,
such
that will legitimately scare them.
And I'm like, let's do
this. This will be so good.
I could not understand why you wouldn't let me. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Okay, so there's things in therapy we didn't talk. Okay, so
this has been. I
might be a psychopath or a sociopath.
No.
Which one is it? Maybe I don't know for a reason. Okay, next therapy session. I'm gonna be like, why do I like to scare people?
Not people, your own children.
I'd like to scare you too. You're not my kid. I'd like
your family.
If I have the friends that you can jump scare, I fucking love jump scares.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to be like, and they're gonna come murder you. Like, I don't like to terrify them. I like the roller coaster ride, the theme park of we're okay. You know, I don't like to make people afraid. I like the jump scare. So, you know, I'm not like, let me just torture you with fear, make you think you're gonna die. Like the energy vampire then, right? I'm feeding on their fear. Right? Or Monsters Inc. No, it's the jump scare. It's the jump scare. So maybe I'm not too bad.
I don't think you're bad at all.
I'm definitely going to bring this up and be let's analyze this.
I think it's an interesting thing. I'm interested to see if other mothers enjoy scaring their children, if it's totally a thing.
I have not had
Doesn't
this much
your mom like
awareness
scaring you?
That I need to self-reflect hardcore right now. Does she like scaring me?
Like, doesn't she like the jump scare thing too?
She would do this thing where she would act like a monkey and it would scare me and she loved it. And she would like come at me, chasing me like a monkey. And I'm like, stop!
See? Something there.
Yeah. Yeah, there might be something to look into there.
Let's go get some lunch.
Okay.
This has been so freaking fun.
This has been fun.
I don't want this to end because I want us to, I think we're just going to do every episode this way from now on.
I've had a lot of fun. Like, thanks for being here. Like, you've been coming in and out throughout it all and just like being a part of our first live, getting through the hiccup, the nervousness. Boy, like we started off like we're here. Like, it was so dorky. We're so funny. Just the nervousness of, okay, how different it feels to be live as opposed to.
Right. We've recorded so many freaking podcasts.
So many.
And have we ever done a live one like this?
We used to do live. Like a couple like Instagram lives, just like in a minute or a like to do a full This is our first live podcast.
It's freaking awesome.
You've recorded one in front of an audience before, but it didn't broadcast live.
Yeah.
And so it's our first YouTube live, our broadcasting live podcast.
We do have some more planned for coming up. So stay tuned. We do have some more plans in regards to like live podcasts that we're going to be doing in the not too distant future.
Maybe costumes continue.
I think we definitely need to do costumes. I was trying to think of like maybe we need to do a Christmas one.
Yeah.
And we can dress up.
Can I be Nadja for Christmas?
You could be the Nadja version of Christmas.
How what we do in the shadows celebrates Christmas.
Right. And
we should just be these characters for every holiday.
Every holiday.
Be like
they're
like
fun.
Laszlo and Nadja.
Yeah, they're
do
fun.
New Year's Eve. We're at the witches' New Year's Eve. Happy Samhain. So,
thank you, everybody. Expect the best.
Plan for the greatest.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Nadja.
I almost said what
Lazlo.
We do in the shadows. I almost said it on Steph and Craig. Thank you.
On Nadja and Lazlo.
Right. I've been so nervous, babe.
Baby, you did so good. It was so fun.
Talked. Thank you. This was fun.
We'll talk to everybody. We'll see you all soon on next episode.
Okay. Should we show them what we do at the end of a podcast while it's live and just like take a deep breath? Okay. My teeth.